Welcome back. Hello, let's take chapter 2 in the Bronze Bust Mystery. Okay, chapter 2. Now let's listen to the chapter again.
Chapter 2. A Party for Senator Julius. Robert and Lucy turned around. A boy was standing staring at them. He was about a year younger than they were. He had very short, dark hair. He wore a long, white tunic down to his knees. The children realized that he was wearing a Roman tunic. He looked just like the Roman children in the film. "Who are you?" repeated the boy. "I'm Robert, and this is my cousin Lucy," Robert said. The boy looked the two children up and down. "Why are you wearing those strange clothes? And how did you get into my room? Answer me quickly, or I shall call for my slave, Salvius. He will remove you." "We have come from the future," said Lucy. "Look." She showed the boy the time travel phones. "Our grandfather invented these so that we could travel through time. We wanted to see what Rome was like in the year 130. And, well, here we are." The boy stepped closer. He looked at the phones. "How strange," he murmured. He stared at the children for a moment or two. Then he smiled. "I'm Marcus," he said. "Welcome to Rome." He spread his arm wide. "This is my room. I sleep here." "It's very nice," said Lucy. She looked at Robert. Then she took a deep breath. "May we stay for a little while to learn about your city?" "Why not?" said Marcus. "It might be fun to have you here. My father is Magnus Andronicus. I will tell him what you have told me and ask him if you may stay with us." He pointed to their clothes. "I'll find you some tunics to wear." He went to a large wooden chest and pulled out some tunics. "Put these on. They should fit you." The children put on the tunics. They felt cool and comfortable. "Come on," said Marcus. Marcus took the children down a wide stone staircase. They crossed a hall and went into a large room at the front of the house. Magnus Andronicus was busy reading, but he wasn't reading from a book or a letter. He was reading from a long scroll of paper. When Marcus went into the room, Magnus Andronicus put down the scroll. "Hello, Marcus," he said. "I was just reading some messages from Senator Julius about the party I am having for him tonight. Is there something you want?" Marcus introduced Robert and Lucy to his father. He told his father about the time travel phones. Magnus Andronicus was amazed. He sat down and stared at the phones. "What wonderful inventions," he said. "I am very interested in science. Perhaps one day I will meet your grandfather. He must be a very interesting man to talk to." He looked up at the children. "You are welcome to stay here. I hope your stay in Rome is an interesting one." The children left the room. "Your father said that he is having a party for Senator Julius tonight," said Lucy. "What is a senator?" "Senators are rich people who meet at the Senate House in Rome to talk about important things and make laws, said Marcus. My father is a rich merchant. Senator Julius is an important senator. My father is holding a party tonight in honor of Senator Julius. It's going to be a brilliant party. Just then, Magnus Andronicus came out of his study. He saw the children. I'm going to collect the little bronze bust that I have had made for Julius, he said. Would you all like to come with me to collect it? It is in the studio at the back of the bronzesmith's workshop in the next street. Oh, yes, please, said the children. Magnus Andronicus laughed. Come on then, we must hurry. The party starts soon, and I want everything to be ready. They walked along the street to the bronzesmith's workshop. Robert and Lucy looked around as they walked. Rome was a hot and dusty city. There were people and animals everywhere. Dogs searched the roads for scraps of food. Cats curled up sleepily in the hot sun. Horses and carts carried people and goods around the city. It was a noisy and busy place. The bronzesmith's workshop was busy. Magnus Andronicus waved to the bronzesmith as he walked in. Good day to you, he called. Good day, Magnus Andronicus, called the bronzesmith. Come through to the studio, sir. The bronze bust is ready. You'll like it, I think. The studio was a bright, sunny room. The little bronze bust was on a small table. The bronze sparkled in the bright light. It was magnificent. What perfection, said Magnus Andronicus. The bronzesmith smiled. He was glad the rich merchant liked his work. It's lovely, agreed the children. Magnus Andronicus paid the bronzesmith and carefully carried the bust home. He placed it on a pedestal in the hall so that all the guests could admire it as they came in. Later that night, the guests arrived. Marcus's aunt and uncle came. A girl the same age as Marcus was with them. She was pretty with long dark hair. She had big brown eyes and an even bigger smile. Marcus introduced her to Robert and Lucy. This is Camilla, my cousin, he said and laughed. We're just like you and Lucy. We're good friends too. Camilla has come to stay for a whole week. He turned to Camilla. This is Robert and Lucy, he said. He hesitated. They are my friends. Camilla smiled at them. I'm pleased to meet you, she said. Robert and Lucy thought it was interesting that Marcus didn't tell Camilla that they were time travelers. They thought perhaps he didn't want to frighten her. Just then, Senator Julius arrived. Magnus Andronicus went to meet him. He showed him the bronze bust. Julius was delighted with it. He thanked Marcus's father and said it was the best bust he had ever seen. Then, slaves brought food for the guests and the party began. Marcus explained that his father did not allow children at parties. He took the children up the stone staircase. They sat on the upper floor and watched the party below. It was a wonderful sight. There was a lot to eat. Some slaves carried large silver trays full of the most delicious food Robert and Lucy had ever seen. That's Salvius, said Marcus, pointing to a slave who was standing near the bust on the pedestal. "He is my father's best slave." The children watched as Salvius looked at the bronze bust very carefully. He seemed to be admiring it. "Salvius likes the bust," said Robert. Marcus laughed. "Well, it is the best bust Senator Julius has ever seen." It got late. The noise and the heat from the party below made the children feel sleepy. Soon, all 4 children were fast asleep.
Now, let's read the summary of the chapter. Okay? A party for Senator Julius. Robert and Lucy found themselves in a room, and there was a boy standing there. His clothes were different. He was wearing a tunic. They told him that they are from the future. They came to see what Rome was like in the year 130. The boy was amazed when he saw the phones. His name is Marcus. Marcus told his father about them. Marcus's father welcomed them and was very happy, as we see in the story. There was a party for Senator Julius. Senators are rich people who meet at the Senate House in Rome to talk about important things and make laws. Laws means rules, okay? Magnus, who is Marcus's father, was going to collect the bronze bust that he had made for Julius from the bronzesmith's workshop. Bronzesmith is the person who makes things from bronze, okay? Bronzesmith is a person who makes things from the metal bronze, okay? They walked in the roads of Rome, which was hot and dusty. People used horses and carts to go from one place to another. They saw the bust. It was magnificent, wonderful, and very beautiful, okay? They took the bust home and placed it on a pedestal. Pedestal is something made of stones, valuable stones, where he put the bust on it. Okay, I will show you a picture of the pedestal in the hall to make the guests admire it as they came in. Robert and Lucy met Camilla, Marcus's cousin. The party started and Senator Julius came. He was amazed and delighted. Delighted means pleased and happy when he saw the bust. The children watched the party from the upper floor. The party was wonderful and all people were amazed and too happy. There were many kinds of food and drinks. The children were too tired, so they felt asleep. Here are the strange words that we meet in our chapter. Okay, look at this picture, first picture, and look at the arrow. This is a pedestal. Pedestal is a place where he put Magnus he has put the bust on it. Okay, it's called a pedestal. It's made of kind of stones. Okay, and the second picture is a Senate house. This is the Senate house, the place where the senators work and they make important laws. Okay, the bronzesmith, as I told you, is the person who makes things from bronze. And a scroll, this is the kind of paper where they write their messages on them, okay, and they scroll it, so it's called a scroll. Now let's take the answer the questions. What's a senator? Senator is a rich senator is a rich important man in the country. He is a member at the Senate House. Again, what's a senator? Senator is a rich, important man in the country. He is a member at the Senate House. Who was Magnus Andronicus? Who was Magnus Andronicus? Our names are ancient, so they are going to be somehow difficult in reading. Okay, Magnus Andronicus. Magnus Andronicus. Who was Magnus Andronicus? He was Marcus's father. Marcus's father. Okay. Why did Magnus place the bronze bust on a pedestal in the hall? So all the guests could admire it. So all the guests could admire it. Who was Salvius? Who was Salvius? He was Marcus's father's best slave. We knew that we have many slaves in the house. The best one was Salvius. Or he was the best slave for Marcus's father. Okay? So who was Salvius? He was Marcus's father's best slave. Why didn't Marcus tell Camilla that Robert and Lucy are time travelers? Not to frighten her. Not to frighten her. Not to make her afraid, يعني. Let's take the complete. Senator Julius is an important senator. Senator Julius is an important senator. The studio was a bright and sunny room. The studio was a bright and sunny room. The studio of the bronze bust. Of the bronze smith man. Okay, the bronze smith. He has a studio, a place where he works. يعني. This studio was bright and sunny. So the studio was a bright and sunny room. Salvius brought food for the guests and the party began. Salvius brought food for the guests and the party began. Marcus told his father that Robert and Lucy are time travelers. A is wrong, okay? Robert and Lucy are time travelers. People who travel through time. Now let's take the unanswered questions. Okay? What was the boy wearing? A long brown Roman tunic. Tunic, when we took tunic before, tunic is a kind of clothing, okay, without sleeves. Something you wear on your body, but without sleeves, and as without sleeves. Sleeves means things that cover your arms, okay. The tunic is a type of clothing without sleeves, okay, without sleeves. Sorry. Again, number 1. What was the boy wearing? A long brown Roman tunic. A long brown Roman tunic. Okay. What did Magnus make for Senator Julius? What did Magnus make for Senator Julius? He made a party to give him a present. He made a party to give him a present. What did the children want to see? What did they want to see? What Rome was like in 130, or in the year 130. What Rome was like in 130. Where did Marcus take the children? Where did Marcus take the children? He took them up the stone stairs. They sat on the upper floor and watched the party below. He took them up the stone stairs. They sat on the upper floor and watched the party below. Because we knew that Marcus's father doesn't like children to be in parties, so they were watching the party from the upper floor. Okay, so where did Marcus take the children? Number 4 again. He took them up the stone stairs. They sat on the upper floor and watched the party below. Who was Senator Julius? He was an important senator. He was a member in the Senate House. He was an important senator. He was a member in the Senate House. Let's take the complete. Number 1. Magnus, Marcus's father. Magnus placed the bronze bust on a pedestal in the hall. On a pedestal in the hall. Pedestal, P-E-D-E-S-T-A-L, pedestal. P-E-D-E-S-T-A-L, pedestal. Camilla was Marcus's cousin. The space was glad that the rich merchant liked this work. The bronze smith was glad that the merchant liked his work. Rome was a hot and dusty city. Rome was a hot and dusty city. I hope you understood the chapter. Goodbye, my dear students. See you again on the next chapter.